Hey guys, welcome back to Photo Day Zombies. My name is Brian Averett, and today we're going to take our tutorial to the next step by showing you how to do memory mates with automation. Alright, so if you're looking at this tutorial, then I hope you're already using Pixnub and trying to figure out how to run memory mates through your automation. As I've said before, your Memorimation is only as strong as your CSV, so let's get started there. So here's our CSV. You might recognize many of the columns from what we've did in our previous tutorials. If you haven't seen them, definitely start there. This will all make a lot more sense. Alright, so we have our SPA, which is where we have our PNG. Our PNG is our extraction. First name, last name, team that those players are on, the year, the league name, and then right here we have a pinned file name. So since these are going to be memory mates, I like to append them with _MEM. If you're a Got Photo user and you wanted to automatically be recognized as a composite, then you can do _MM right here. So once you're uploaded and once it's activated, it's already going to mark them as a composite. So we're going to do MEM though, just so that they're not automatically marked as a composite unless I tell it to. This is going to be the template file that I'm going to be running. This is the team file. So since we're running a memory mate, the difference between running an individual and running a memory mate is that our memory mate is going to have our team in it as well. So whenever we run our automation, which we're going to see here in a few minutes, you're going to have to tell it what team image do I want to load for this player. Now, it's important to do this if you want to run multiple teams through the same automation. If you only want to run one single team, you don't technically need this column, and I'll show you where that's going to come into play. But being that we're running multiple teams, as you can see here, you're definitely going to need that team file. We've got our text resizing, and then we also have our post action. Post action is going to change the overall color of that template to give it a little bit, give that better touch so that it actually flows a little bit better in terms of the colors. Alright, so that's our CSV. Let's take a look at our template. So here's our template. This is what we're going to be running. Template might look familiar to you. It's from Don Ward and Third Creative, right? He gave me this lovely piece of swag that I told him I was going to rock. Don, if you're seeing it, told you I would. Here you are. This particular template is called Orbit. You can go to thirdcreative.com to purchase it and use it for your own work. His templates are always really easy to work with. They're always phenomenal. Highly recommend them. So, right here we have the finished product, but it's not ready for our automation. If we were to try to run it right here, nothing would ever change because the Pixnub plugin doesn't know where it's going to put the individual and also where it's going to put the team. So let's go ahead and get that set up first so I can show you how it's done. Now we've already done the individual before, so we're going to click on Setup PSD Template, and right here at the very top, the Player Setup. Player Slot 1, Alignment Mode 1, that's what I like to use for these because it recognizes the face, puts it where it needs to go, resizes as needed. So we're going to click on Add Player Layer Group. There we go, throws it on. Grab this whole folder. I want his face to go there, but he's a little small. So let's just throw him right there. Okay. And so now I need to drop him in the template where he needs to be. Yep, we'll put him right there. Hide our previous player. And so now he is ready to go. Let's move him up just a little bit. So now we're gonna work with our team image. Now right under our player setup in our sports photo automation PSD setup, you see team setup, alignment mode 1, and then we're going to set the size. And this is just setting the size of your placeholder. Okay. I know that my image right here in the background is a 5x4. So I got my width by 5,000, height by 4,000, and I'm going to hit set size. If you try to do this without setting that size, you're going to get this error. Must enter size before adding. So we're going to set the size. Now you see it popped up here. And we're going to add our team layer group. Just like our individual player, gives you this nice, really big placeholder. So we are going to bring this down to where it goes in our template. Okay, it's going to go there. Let's move it on top so we know we can resize it. Alright, we're going to resize it to there. Resize this to the bottom. Move it over to where we want it to go. Perfect, and we're going to hide our previous image so that we don't get any sort of accidental overlap. Let's save that off. And now we're ready for our automation. We've updated our CSV with the template file that we're going to run, but also the team file, which is very important because otherwise you're not going to know what team file to load. So let's go ahead and do our automation. Okay, so I like to run PNGs only. This isn't required. I like to do it just so it helps prevent any issues. Now our player images folder is going to be where all of our extractions are. Where are we going to save our finished images? We're going to go to Memory Mates, Export, because I like to run an export folder. We have our template file, which is going to be our orbit. It should be 5x4 memory mate, but our orbit memory mate. Okay. Now our templates are in our CSV. This isn't required if you're only running a memory mate for this entire batch. You want to click on this if you're running different templates in a single batch, which we're going to get into the next tutorial. But for this tutorial, while not required, this is my personal workflow so that I know whether I'm running 1 template or 10 templates, my workflow doesn't change. Okay, it's a good habit to get into. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to select the template where the folder where my template is. And then my CSV is driving my automation, right? It's got all my player data in it. It's got all of my teams in it, my groups, my actions, everything. So we have to load this in here. Okay, here's our full memory mate. CSV is loaded. Now, here is the next step of what we need to actually create memory mates. So when I click this, you have 2 options. The team file source. This says you can use the same team image for the entire batch. Now this is good if you're running like a gym that only has all the athletes in it. Okay, so no matter if they're doing wrestling or cheer or dance or anything like that, if they're all on one single team, you can use this option. From there you do team image file, you select that one team image file, and you're done. But in our CSV, I'm running 3 different teams. So I can't use a single team image. I don't want a Golden Warriors player to be showing on a Lions team in the background. Doesn't look good. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this drop down, change it to get team images from CSV TSV. And then I'm going to select on team images folder because I need to tell it the images that I have in my CSV, you can find them at this location. Okay. So we're going to go here. I got a folder right here named Team Files. I'm going to select that folder. And then at the very bottom, I'm going to pause on the finished image because I want to ensure that everything looks good before I move on. So we're going to run this batch. First thing it's going to do is load our template, pull in the first player, place that first player, pull in the team, place the team, then update everything else on the template. So far, so good. That looks very promising. Let's go on to the next one. Make sure that it's a different team. Should be pulling in a different team image. Now, if it pulls in a same team image, then one of two things could happen. Your CSV has the wrong team image in it, or when you did those initial options, instead of use the team file that's in the CSV, you might have selected just use a single team image. All right, so we're good here. I'm confident. I'm just going to hit continue with no more pauses. Here, I'm going to go get dinner, go make myself a snack, get a drink. We'll all be good to go. Usually when I start a batch, I will sit here and watch it because you can tell before it's done with that image if everything looks right or not. Okay, it's going to go through everything before saving it off, and sometimes you can spot like, oh, that team image didn't look right, and while it's still going through the rest, I'll look in my CSV to see if it was something I messed up. Most of the time it's something I messed up, but that's okay. I fix it, and then rerun it for just that one image, and I'm good to go. Okay, so let's take a look at our finished images. All right, Claire Moore, Purple Penguins, looks good. Good. All right, everything looks great. So we added a column or two to our CSV, and then we're able to run all of our memory mates. There's very little that needs, it's not very difficult to run these memory mates. Okay, so stop trying to run with 16, 20, 30 different templates. I met someone, and if you're watching this, you know who you are. And if you haven't never been taught this, then you're probably doing it this way, and you also know who you are. But you don't need a different template for every team. You can run them all in the same template using actions and just updating your CSV. All right. So stay tuned. Next tutorial I'm going to be doing is how to run all your different templates in a single run. All right. So it's going to be your individuals, your memory mates, your individuals with no text, your 5.5s for your buttons. We're going to get crazy, do it all in one run for multiple teams, and that's when you're really going to start to see the power that you can do with your Pixnub sports photo automation. Stay tuned.
Wow.